Adam Taxin here with Bob Guzzardi, and we are continuing something I started last year. I did an interview with Debbie Schlussel about a year ago about Herman Wouk's 100th birthday. Now we have to update that because Mr. Wouk, one of the real great authors of the 20th century of novels, decided to live, apparently, we're not quite there yet, to be 101. So, hey, you live that long, I think you get another video. In fact, we may do a series of video. And what I'm trying to do over the next month, his birthday is on May 27th. He was born May 27th, 1915, which is, 8 days from now. And we have a lot of extra room because his Jewish birthday is the 14th of Sivan, 5675. And that's not till June 20th or June 21st, depending if he was born during the day or at night. I don't really know. No, it would be June 20th or June 20th or June 21st, depending if he was born early at night. So what I'm doing is I'm going to talk to a few people about various books by Herman Wouk. And right now I'm going to be talking with Bob Guzzardi about a book we wouldn't have had the opportunity to discuss last year, Sailor and Fiddler, or I think that's the title, Reflections of a 100-Year-Old Author, because it only came out this January. He published it when he was already 100 years old. And in the last few weeks, Bob Guzzardi, and thank you for joining me, read this book. So, Bob, thank you for joining me, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I read the book, and I was familiar with Herman Wouk. I had years and years ago read Teen Mutiny, and I saw the movie with the memorable performance by Humphrey Bogart with the marbles and the steel marbles. And I think I saw the movie Marjorie Morningstar, and I think I read the book.
Well, the movie was terrible.
and they were good. I mean, they were.
Really?
Although at the end of Teen Mutiny, the famous scene is where Barney Greenwald, the attorney, castigates the mutineers, the alleged mutineers. They had just been found innocent, and says, the captain, who was from working class America, kept the Navy going when you people were, partying up at Harvard, Yale, and all your Ivy League schools, and was somewhat superior, took a position of moral superiority. After he had destroyed the captain of the ship with his cross-examination, and then he castigates. So he managed to insult everybody from his high moral position. And Herman Wouk, as you said, has been respected. He gets great reviews. They have a mini-series. And I always thought that this was the same liberal superiority, the smugness, the position that, I'm morally superior, and I will inform all of you how to think about these things properly. And that always left a sour taste in my mouth. And then, at your request, I looked at the Sailor and the Fiddler, and I read the book, and I was very underimpressed, in fact, somewhat disappointed, because, and you're familiar with this too, you've read Torah, and you've heard the Midrash. You take the historical continuum, and we have the history of Israel, which we call Torah, the 5 books of Moses, and the Judges, and the Nevi'im, and then we get Nevi'im. This is the history of the Jewish state, Israel. And then you take those and you see what's implied by the text, and we just had a brilliant exposition by my rabbi, Chabad rabbi.
That's Rabbi David Bigler.
The character of Saul, the first king of Israel, and what that meant. And it was fascinating to see the depth of reading the text itself. And then, of course, you want to take that historical text and say, how does that apply to our time? What happened 3,000 years ago is relevant and is alive today. So we want to see what lessons we can learn. As I read Herman Wouk's book, it was more of a journal. This is what I did. In 1945, I did that, and in 1952, I did this, and then I got this, and I got all these awards and honors, and I live in Palm Springs, California, because I am now a very, 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 very rich man, and I just wanted to tell you all the things that I have done. But I didn't find any depth to it. I didn't find any these are lessons, life lessons that I have learned. If you want to succeed,
Yeah.
this is what you do. He apparently has been.
Let me step in a bit, Bob. Let me just step in a bit, Bob, because people may not be familiar with the book. And this is great. I want to give you're giving an interpretation as if that's of that book on its own, as opposed to the book being read after you've read a number of his other books. It's meant to be a light book, and he's a big boy. Obviously, he's going to be 101 in a few days, so he certainly can handle criticism by now. But I think that what you may be saying is, if you're going to read one Herman Wouk book, this is not the one. Unless you're only willing to spend about an hour or two on it.
I would think that at this point in time, he has the luxury of saying whatever he wants to say. I mean, there's a mind game that you can play. Pretend that you're going to commit suicide. It's all over. Your life is done. You're going to put the gun to your head. But before you pull the trigger, what would you do? We have nothing to lose anymore. What would you do? And in a sense, this is where he is. And all he does is tell us all the great things that he has done. It was very, very disappointing. You would think that at this point you would have some deeper insights. For example, one of the interesting lessons that I learned from his book, which he did not make, is that he has been married to one woman for I don't know how many years, 50, 60, maybe 70 years. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks briefly about the tragedy of his, I think, 5-year-old son who was found drowned in a pool, and I can't imagine what that is like, and it is clear that that is something that he has carried with him, but he mentions it without any explication of what the meaning of this is. This is a tragic death of an innocent child, 5 years old. He's without blemish, and he dies. And for what? I mean, it was swimming in the swimming pool. There doesn't even appear to be negligence. I don't know what happened exactly, but something happened, and the baby died. Very, very young child died. And he mentions that this has affected him deeply, and then moves on. And what are we to learn from that? I mean, because this is a horrible tragedy, and I don't know what I am supposed to learn. Is it to say, look, horrible tragedies happen to people. You don't forget about it. You remember it, but you move on, which he apparently did, and moved on very, very well. And that's the kind of thing. And then the other thing, that being married for so long. I mean, we're in the age of transgender bathroom, gay marriage. Anything goes. Anything goes. Next is going to be pedophilia. Is going to be legitimized.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite sure that that's coming up. We have basically serial polygamy now. We're moving into the area where pedophilia is going to be accepted as consent. Child can consent at age 13, something like the Muslims do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm looking.
I think it's a little younger in some cases.
Draw the conclusion that he is an exemplar, this liberal democratic Jew, of bourgeois virtues. Bourgeois virtues say you get married, you get a job, you work, save, and invest. You do what you're supposed to do. You don't run around. You don't steal from people. You don't lie to people. And if you look at the record and from everything that I know, he is a very, very, very honorable man. Nobody has said a word that he has been dishonest, that he is taking advantage in any of his business dealings, and apparently nobody has taken advantage of him. I mean, although I think he mentions a few things from place to place. But he has lived a life of bourgeois virtue. Now, I sense from him, and you and I know the type, that this is a liberal Democrat.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
And there was a time, if you remember, you're not old enough, and I was barely born, but you have Democrats like Harry Truman who were patriots. Herman Wouk is a patriot. That's another thing.
Oh, for sure, based on his book.
To a woman, faithfully, doesn't cheat in business, doesn't lie, doesn't take advantage of people, produces a product that people like to buy voluntarily. There's no government subsidies, no government coercion. If you don't like his books, you don't read them. If you like his books, you read them. And you tell people what you think, as I am doing. So you look at this man who is an exemplar of bourgeois virtues, of honesty, industrial, productive work, of fidelity, marital fidelity. sporting life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a lesson that we can all learn, that he has been disciplined, he has been persistent. I mean, this was not a straight line. He clearly talks about, there were delays and disappointments along the way, but he soldiered on, he persisted, he did his best. He doesn't come across as pretentious.
No, he doesn't.
He's a kind of a down-to-earth guy. I mean, I knew guys like this. They're frankly a dying breed, but when I was growing up, I met a lot of guys like this who were, I mean, if you look at that time, God Bless America is written by an immigrant Jew. Writes God Bless America. This is a time when Democrats and Jews were patriotic Americans. Now, it's like, every wrong thing that the country has done, it's horrible. I mean, there's nothing redeeming about America. We want to just basically surrender to the Muslims or the communists or whoever it is that's opposing us. I mean, you have a patriotic American, married to one woman, honest in his business dealings, productive, persevering, an exemplar of bourgeois values. And they pay off. This is a great story. This is what, I would learn from it, but he doesn't seem to draw these conclusions. Perhaps he's embarrassed.
Or humble.
As a liberal, of course, he would be embarrassed to say, well, I'm a patriot. I think America is a force for good in the world. It certainly has kept the promise to the Wouk family. They have benefited from the promises of America. I mean, he is not blind to Jew hatred in our society, as you can be, but he has certainly said the good outweighs the bad by far. Look at me. Yeah. I mean, if there was so much Jew hatred, how do I have this kind of prosperity?
Bob, let me say one thing, though. It's possible one could say that, he got as much patriotism as he needed to. It mentioned in a number of his other books. Certainly The Winds of War and War and Remembrance Epic, which I just finished this week, or in The Cane Mutiny, or even in where it's a little more less tangential, Inside Outside, or Youngblood Hawk. It's all in there. So maybe he just didn't feel anything more to say.
No, you're missing my point.
Yeah.
The point is that he is clearly an unapologetic patriot, an American patriot. Clearly unapologetic about it. He talks about America. I mean, we fought the bad guys and we beat them. And my point is that he doesn't seem to draw a deeper meaning from that.
Good point. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. That it's a good thing. I mean, he implies that America won the war and all of that, but that he doesn't seem to take pride in justifiable pride in his own patriotism. He doesn't explicate what it is and why he is a patriot. Why is he a patriot? I mean, there's certainly Jew hatred in America. There's certainly racism and sexism and every other witchism that America is certainly not just like Israel is not. When I say Israel, I mean the biblical Israel is rife with sin and walking away from God. I mean, this is certainly America has not lived up to its great ideals, but it does have itself. And for the most part, it is certainly a preferable country to communist Russia or communist China or any other country, in my opinion. And he doesn't seem to be willing to say. And even when he talks about Judaism and the chosen people, what does this mean? He doesn't seem to talk about American exceptionalism.
That's a good point. If you were his editor, I mean, he should have sent you a copy of it beforehand. I think that's a really good point, that he should have maybe edited that. It's a short book. There was certainly room for it. And I think that's a valid criticism.
I mean, this is not a novel. I'm familiar enough with Herman Wouk to know that he's a patriot. And to say something like that, perhaps in his own mind, he has never. This is my point about this book, which is a kind of overview of his life, and he doesn't take the opportunity to say, I wrote these books because I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to be an American because, and then I tried to tell why I'm proud to be an American. In Cane Mutiny, for example, there were plenty of flawed characters.
Yeah.
They're all flawed, as a matter of fact.
And the whole point is his development into sort of like one of the characters in The Winds of War, War and Remembrance, his development through his military service into a much finer individual than he started out as at the beginning of the book.
Okay, well, that's the point of that book, but he's certainly very proud of his naval service. He makes a point,
Yeah.
and I was intrigued that he was working for Fred Allen, and then he wanted to join the Navy, but he had been drafted into the Army, and the Navy said, look, the Army's got you first, and he gets Fred Allen to make some phone calls, and he gets himself into the Navy. I mean, he wanted to serve during a time of conflict. This was not a peacetime Navy that he was joining.
Right.
So it was very admirable what he did. My point is, I am explicating from this. He doesn't seem to go to the deeper levels. I don't know why. I mean, there may be, it may be just the way he is, but I am looking at somebody who is an admirable person.
Yeah.
And he's writing this book, and as you point out, and as I said, he's not boastful. He's explaining, this is what happened, and, I was fortunate enough in King Muni become a movie and a miniseries of War and Remembrance, et cetera, and he talks about all successes in a very modest way.
Mm-hmm. Bob, let's move on. I think you made your point there.
Okay.
I do want to wrap up with this point. Did reading this book... also, I want to say that, it's possible, hey, he's still alive, he's still working. Maybe there will be another book currently talking about that. He doesn't know. Maybe he'll be alive for a few more years.
Well, that's the point of what I'm saying. My hope is that, he's certainly a far better writer than I. Perhaps, our sympathetic criticism in the sense of not being antagonistic or hostile, but I want to know more. That's what I think. If I had to critique the book, I would say to me, he just skimmed the surface. Herman, there is more to you than just this litany of books that you wrote and miniseries and what you did when and who you worked for. There is more to you than that.
Yeah, well, if he does Confessions of a 101-year-old author, now you have a suggestion from Bob Guzzardi if you listen to this, Mr. Wouk. Here's the question. One, did it inspire you to read any more of his books? And if so, which ones most intrigued you? And let's wrap up with that question.
Frankly, I would not be inspired to read any of his books.
Okay.
Because I felt in this recitation it was somewhat superficial, and as I recall from the Caine Mutiny, a great story, but it didn't have. I mean, I'm not a kid myself, and as at this stage, I want something that has a little bit more explication, the more than midrashic. You're familiar with that?
Yeah, I think you may have to read War and Remembrance, though. I think there might be a little bit more there, especially in regard to Judaism and the Holocaust, and one finding their way within Judaism, than you might be aware of. But he didn't mention it.
Maybe I'll take a look at it.
Well, you got to read The Winds of War first. Don't read War and Remembrance without doing that.
He talks about communism, because why would he? I mean, communism, after we crushed the Germans and the Japanese, and what, by the way, it is because of the...
Read Youngblood Hawk for that one on communism.
Youngblood Hawk?
And read Inside Outside for that one, too. Yeah.
All right. Well, if he wants to talk about communism, I'd be glad to take a look at it.
Youngblood Hawk's the one for that one. Okay, your next assignment's Youngblood Hawk.
West American Betrayal, and I found that to be what I needed to know. And I'm afraid that I'm going to be disappointed if I read this and just get angry. And
I don't think you'll get angry. I think you'll like his take on communism and Youngblood Hawk, and you certainly will like his take in The Winds of War and War and Remembrance. That's not his main topic, but hey, 2,000 pages in those two books. There's plenty of time to talk about communism as well, as opposed to, and he makes a distinction between the Soviet Union and the Russian people. There is, I don't think I'm giving too much away. He had a lot of respect for the ordinary Russian person. Okay, let's wrap this up. Herman Wouk's 101st birthday. We're doing at least this one. Maybe I'll get you to read another book in the next month, and there will be another one. But final thoughts, Bob Guzzardi. Final thoughts from you.
Final thoughts are that I hope that he lives to 120, and even longer. And this is proud to be American.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time today, Bob Guzzardi.